Hi, this is Andy Gardner. I'm one of the instructors over here at Highlander, and what I'd like to take a quick look at today is a few of the selection tools that you have available to you in Photoshop. Selections are an important thing to master when you're working in Photoshop, because if you don't do a good selection, what you'll often find is the other features in Photoshop end up giving you very, very average results if the selection itself that you're starting off with isn't accurate and precise. The selection tools are found primarily at the top left of the tool panel here, and you have the Marquee tools at the top there, which allow you to select things like rectangles or elliptical shapes, as well as single rows and single columns. Below those you actually have the Lasso tools, so that allows you to lasso around an object and select that rough area. You have the Polygon Lasso tool, which lets you plot from point to point, and you have the Magnetic Lasso tool, which will actually attempt to select the edges of the area and jump to those edges. And then finally, to the right of those, you have the Quick Select tool and the Magic Wand tool. I have to say the Quick Select tool is one of the newer tools in there, and it's actually probably one of my favourites. It does a very good job of accurately selecting an item that you're trying to choose. Today though, what we'll start off with is we'll have a look at a rectangle Marquee tool. And I'll drag out a rectangular area on the image, and you can see from the dancing ants that it's selected that area on the image. If I now click below that and attempt to select another rectangle, it actually replaces that first rectangle with the new one. Now the reason it's done that is I've currently got this set to new selection, which is this first little checkbox on the top left here. If I wanted to add to that selection, I'd need to select the second one, or alternatively you can hold the shift key down to do that, and you'll see the cursor now has a little plus on there. So if I now click and do a new rectangle on the screen, you can see it's not replacing that initial rectangle, it's actually adding to that with a new area. And that's great. I can add that to join onto it, or I can add an independent area which will all be treated as part of the same selection. So if I was to make any changes to this image, both of those areas with the dancing ants around them would now be changed. What I might also want to do is remove an area from a selection. So I'll go to the third icon up here, which allows me to remove. You can also do this by holding down the Alt key, or on a Mac it'll be the Apple key. And I can then click here and select an area, and that will remove that from the selection, and equally down here. Now I think it's probably worth mentioning at this point, you can mix and match these tools. So there's nothing in here to stop me going in here and switching to the elliptical Marquee tool and going to remove, and I may want to remove an elliptical area from within there. So you can see it's now removed that elliptical area from my selection. The final option on that top bar there is the Intersect option, which is the fourth one along. And if I click on that, I can go down here, select an area of the image, and what it'll do is it'll keep all the areas which are actually in my new selection and in the existing selection, and everything else will be removed from the selection. So if I click there now, you can see these areas which were in both my new and my existing selection are kept. Everything else is being removed. And you can also do that by holding down Alt Shift or Apple Shift on the Mac as well, if you prefer to use the shortcuts. So that's the standard selection tools for creating basic selections in there using the Marquee tools. As I say, you can take that further using things like the Lasso tools, the Quick Select tools, etc. But that gives you a little bit of a handle on how to use the basic Marquee tools to add to a selection, remove from a selection, and also intersect with a selection.